blitz food distribution, a cumulative total of 94,527 metric tons has been moved across the nation as at 22 October 2024. Out of the expected 139,854 metric tons of cereal, which translates to 62.7% coverage. The grain had been distributed to vulnerable and food insecure people across the country's 10 provinces, and mainly focusing on the 8 rural provinces. Manicaland Province 17,443 metric tons, Mashonaland Central 10,276 metric tons, Mashonaland East 17,525 metric tons, Mashonaland West 10,987 metric tons, Mashingo 12,380 metric tons, Matebeleland North 8,605, Matebeleland South 6,460 metric tons, and Midlands 10,847 metric tons. Furthermore, a total of 4,362 metric tons had been collected to date by chiefs across provinces under the Zundiramambo Ispahla Senkosi Strategic Grain Reserve Distribution Program. The distribution of funds to beneficiaries with correct details has since commenced under the Urban Cash for Cereal Program, and a total of 28,726 beneficiaries have been reached with cash disbursements as at the 28th of October 2024. Under the school feeding program, a cumulative total of 17,250 metric tons of millennial or maize grain had been collected as at the 25th of October 2024. Cabinet considered and approved the proposed Air Services Development Plan as presented by the Minister of Transport and Infrastructural Development, Honorable Felix Mona. The nation is informed that the Air Services Development Plan was developed in order to guide air services development at Victoria Falls Airport, Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport. The plan seeks to identify potential tourist and business source markets for Zimbabwe and will be utilized in the preparation of business cases for routes that can be presented to airlines and preparing for meetings with airlines and preparing for industry events or trade shows. Cabinet advises that the Air Services Development Plan is informed by the following factors: assessment of demand and supply factors at Victoria Falls and Harare, infrastructure assessments at both airports and the enabling environment for aviation transport in Zimbabwe. The Air Services Development Plan provides for a clear air route development strategy, which provides an overall strategy for air services development for Victoria Falls and Harare, as well as route development strategy by the country and by airline. The plan recognizes the importance of coordination by both the public and private sectors in active route development by undertaking engagements with potential airlines. To that end, the plan proposes strategies for coordinating the two sectors in the development of air services in Zimbabwe. Furthermore, in order to actualize the objectives of the Air Services Development Plan, an institutional coordination framework comprising the Air Service Development Steering Committee and the Technical Committee, were established. The role of the Air Services Development Steering Committee shall, among others things, be mandated to oversee the development and technical execution of the Air Services Development Plan, as well as to promote the development of new air routes and the success of the existing ones. The plan will strive to develop Zimbabwe as a destination of choice and to increase tourism arrivals into and within the country. The plan will also make connectivity within Africa and the outside world to become easy, and accordingly flights into Zimbabwe will increase. Cabinet acknowledged the centrality of communication strategies in the implementation of the Air Service Development Plan. Cabinet considered and adopted the report on the Citizen Satisfaction Survey and Baseline Survey on Work Culture Transformation for the year 2023 as presented by the Minister of Public Service, Labour and Social Welfare, Honorable July Moyo. Cabinet notes that the survey is in line with His Excellency, the President, Dr. Edin Mnangagwa, and the Second Republic's operational values of servant leadership and citizen-centric interventions emanating from citizen engagement and inclusivity. Given that government entities have the greatest interface with the people of Zimbabwe through the public services they provide, there is need to continuously and objectively assess citizen satisfaction with the services in order to ensure that expectations are effectively met. The survey is a major milestone in that it serves as a service level benchmark for government in spearheading people-centered service delivery. The baseline survey having been carried out in 2022. As such, the study gathered information on citizens and employees' perception regarding Zimbabwe's public service delivery system, as well as the current work culture among public servants in accordance with the set dimensions. The data gathered through these surveys is important for improving policies, systems, and procedures in order to enhance service delivery. Notably, the surveys included gathering information on the behaviors, attitudes, and knowledge of public service employees from citizens, government employees, and stakeholders in all the country's 10 provinces, 72 districts, and from all government ministries. A sample of 5,920, comprising 4,750 citizens and 1,170 civil servants, was chosen. Cabinet informs the nation that the study found that the overall satisfaction index in terms of the level of satisfaction was 70.81% compared to 67.78% recorded in 2022. The improvement was due to the following indices, which were rated in the strongly satisfied category. Assurance 76.90% in 2023 compared to 72.52% in 2022. Empathy 75.6% in 2023 and 71.37% in 2022. Responsiveness 72.35% in 2023 and 66.96% in 2022. Reliability 71.25% in 2023 and 67.18% in 2022. However, there is need to better the indices falling within the satisfied category, that is ICT's infrastructure and equipment, inclusivity, and gender and location. The overall employee satisfaction index was 72.66% compared to 69.17% recorded in 2022. Civil servants perceived themselves to be highly empathetic, assuring, and reliable towards citizens. The 2023 survey dimensions of empathy, assurance, and reliability had indices of 79.85%, 79.16%, and 75.71%, were all higher than the 2022 indices of 75.45%, 75.71%, and 75.10% respectively. There was need to improve on the ICT's infrastructure and equipment, inclusivity, and gender and location, which were in the satisfied category. There was high and positive correlation between citizens and civil servants' perception of the service quality dimensions. Hence, the conclusion that citizens and employees are generally satisfied with the quality of service offered by government. Government will continue to prioritize the conditions of service of its staff members to guarantee excellent service delivery. The 5 top-rated ministries, departments, and agencies were as follows: the Public Service Commission, citizens 77.47%, and the civil servants 75.42%. The Ministry of Environment, Climate Change, and Wildlife Management, citizens 73.70%, and civil servants 73.22%. The Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education, Innovation, Science and Technology Development, citizens 73.12%, and civil servants 73.73%. The Ministry of Information Communication Technology, Postal and Courier Services, citizens 75.30%, and civil servants 76.25%. And the Ministry of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, citizens 72.87%, and civil servants 72.85%. Only 2 ministries, that is, of Local Government and Public Works and National Housing and Social Amenities, recorded a bit of decreases in their satisfaction indices, while all other ministries improved in their citizens' rating in 2023. Most provinces registered improvement in the 2023 Citizen Satisfaction Index, with the exception of Manicaland, Mashonaland East, and Masvingo provinces. Regarding employee satisfaction, most provinces recorded improvement with the exception of Mashonaland Central, Mashonaland East, and Matabeleland North provinces. Meanwhile, the overall work culture transformation index in 2023 was 73.20% compared to 69.09%, with the average work culture transformation scores for the relevant dimensions ranging from 54.35% to 82% in terms of work ethics. Government will nevertheless endeavor to improve on the ICT's wellness, inclusivity, gender, and attitudes dimensions of the work culture transformation as part of the improvement thrust. Over 2,000 civil servants recently met in Gweru for a week-long interministerial sports tournament, which goes to show the importance of government in terms of placing wellness. Overall, members of public who appreciate that the survey shows that the citizens are generally satisfied with the delivery of public services as the transformation of the public service continues. The Minister of Local Government and Public Works, Honorable Daniel Garwe, updated Cabinet on Mbare Traders Market reconstruction and the proposed model for Glenview Area 8 Furniture Complex as part of the reorganization of the Mbare Msika Traders Market following the declaration of a state of disaster by His Excellency the President Dr. Edim Mnangagwa on the 14th of October 2024 in the aftermath of the Mbare fire disaster. The government of Zimbabwe has put in place a response and recovery plan under the Building Back Better program. The government will intervene through a number of interventions, which includes the following: provision of immediate relief in form of livelihood support, such as cash transfers, the payment of school fees and psychosocial support, and child protection, the immediate resuscitation of businesses through loans, grants, and other packages to assist traders with restocking of goods, provision of alternative and conducive workspace. The Harare City Council has offered the open space opposite Carter House as an alternative while reconstruction is taking place. Economic empowerment programs that support stakeholders in rebuilding their businesses and promoting economic stability. Availing a resilience fund for SMEs and upgrading market infrastructure to the utilization of 2 or 3-story buildings and enhancing emergency response systems to prevent future fire disasters. An assessment carried out by government established that a total of 4,695 traders were directly affected by the disaster, which had a negative bearing on the livelihoods of 23,000 people. A 3-floor model design is being proposed at the Mbare Msika Traders Market, where businesses will be classified and accommodated on all the 3 levels. The reconstructed main market will accommodate at least 10,000 traders. Work on the reconstruction of the new Mbare Msika Traders Market is expected to take 7 months to complete. The Mbare Msika Traders Market project will serve to pilot the smart market concept. The objective of the smart market concept is the enhancement of trading environment through provision of safe and modern facilities. Cabinet considered and approved the principles of the Health Professions Bill, which were presented by the Minister of Health and Child Care, Honorable Dr. Douglas Mombeshora. Cabinet wishes to inform the public that the Health Professions Act, Chapter 27.19, will be amended in order to align it to the Constitution and ensure that it complies with the provisions of the Public Entities and Corporate Governance Act, the Audit Office Act, and the Public Finance and Management Act. The amendments will also make provision for telehealth and emerging new technology. The Health Professions Act was promulgated in April 2001 and is therefore being amended to be in tandem with emerging trends. The bill will provide for the establishment of councils to cater for diversity in healthcare professionals and ensure gender parity and fair regional representation in the councils. Accordingly, the bill will create Health Professions Authority, which will be responsible for dispute resolution between healthcare practitioners and maintenance of confidentiality of patient information. The bill will provide that members of the councils should abide by principles of good corporate governance at all times, promoting transparency, accountability, and integrity in their decision making and actions. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister, for presenting today's cabinet highlights. We now move to the first three questions, first set of three questions, and we'll ask Honourable Ministers to respond, then we'll move to the last round of three questions. Over to you, colleagues. Yes.
Thank you, Taku Chambaka from NRTV. On the air services development plan, I just want to find out, you indicated that it's going to increase tourist arrivals. By what percentage? What's the estimated range there? And then on the Mbari Msika, we also heard that there's the other areas that are affected, but we only had timelines for Mbari Msika new structure, but you mentioned Glenview as well. Do we have the timelines? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other question? Yes.
Oscar Como, freelance. So my question is directed to Minister of Public Service. There are some villagers, precisely in Togo East, who allege that they are being denied food aid based on political lines. This is despite the repeated statements from government that they've put in measures to make sure that this is not happening. But I witnessed, in fact I talked to some of these people who say that they've been denied food aid in Togo East. So I just wanted to hear from the minister if his office has received these reports and what are the measures that have been put in place to make sure that this does not happen. My second question, Chief Secretary, if I'm allowed, is also I seek to understand how much has been displaced to the urban people who seek aid. If you can tell us maybe how much each of the 28,000 beneficiaries got, you could also give us the total amount which was channeled towards that support. Thank you.
Over to you, Minister.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Chief Secretary. The first question is from Taku Chambaka in terms of the estimated range in terms of tourist arrivals and the growth of the tourism industry. Over to you, Minister Mona.
Thank you so much, Comrade Chairman, and let me also thank my brother, Taku, for that very important question. It should relate very well on the plan where it was crafted soon after the COVID-19 pandemic, where our figures were so down, and we're looking at a figure of increasing that arrival in terms of numbers, where we are moving towards a 2.3 million increase to make it 2.7 million arrivals by 2025. And this is what we are targeting. But as you know, we've also upgraded our infrastructure, the RGM International Airport, to accommodate 6 million. But the baseline that we're targeting on the plan was 2.7 million by 2025. Thank you so much.
Okay. The second question, I'll deal with it. But Minister Moyo might also want to attempt to deal with the matter. But Oscar Ngomo's issues on Costa Ngomo, you want to know about the politicization of food aid in Mutoko East. Over to you, Minister. And you also want to know about how much has been disbursed.
To particular urban beneficiaries.
Yes, all right.
Thank you, question that Costa Pomoyo has presented is straightforward. There might be people who use this question of discrimination for good reasons and for bad reasons. But as government, we have said no one and no place should be left without food. And that's why we did not make the civil servants become the one who select people. We did not make the NGOs who might be working in those areas to select people. We did not make politicians, whether they are elected councillors and others, to select people. We say they should be selected by the village heads. And those village heads know the people in their area who are food insecure. And I would be most surprised if there is a village head or a headman or a chief who would want their people to be discriminated and not select them on food distribution. However, human problems can be there, and if we get the actual place where it is happening, we have set in motion people, different aspects of people to do inspection. For instance, those in my ministry who are in the Public Service Commission, who are inspectors, they also go and do inspections, and I do receive every week the inspectors' reports about food distribution in all the districts in the country. And one of the things that I look for is whether to see that there are some people who have been left out when they deserve. And I have not picked that, but we are willing to follow up if we get details about that in Togo East. But government policy and government action is everybody who needs food must have food. And this is the President's call that we want to give to our people who are food insecure. When it comes to urban areas, yes, we have been slow in registering the people who deserve to have food. Our target was 1.7 million people, and all the urban areas have been working very hard to register people. And once we registered them, and we have once we have registered them, then we have to put them on cash transfers through electronic channels, through their cell phones, and we have been giving them cell phone cards. A lot of them didn't have the cell phones so that we could send the food through them. And we have been given 13.1 million US dollars, which we are distributing right now. And this 28,000 represent a very small number of what we are distributing. We were delayed also because we wanted to recalibrate. At first, we benchmarked with $8 US dollars per person. And if there's a family of 5, that will mean 40 US dollars. Translated at 13 point something SIG. That immediately changed, and we have had to rework so that we can, the benchmark is 8 US dollars, but calculated at 24 point something SIG. So that's what we've been doing, but we have started distributing. It is fast. Every day, I can't track the numbers because once somebody has the electronic channel well looked after and verified, they just transfer, and we do this through network. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. All right.
You want me to?
You can deal with the other one.
Yeah.
I'll add on to it.
Yes.
All right.
What is it?
All right. Thank you, Minister. You also add on to the Glenview program. Obviously, in terms of policy direction, the government of Zimbabwe has committed to refurbish and to do a lot of engineering revision in terms of the infrastructure that supports a lot of small to medium scale enterprises. So we anticipate that this shall not take longer than 7 months as well, but also taking into consideration that the modernization thrust includes the redesigning of the entire infrastructure that should be constructed in terms of modern design. It will also factor in the surveys that will be taken, and also a lot of design in terms of the programs of action that will be included in terms of ensuring that such occurrences in terms of fire accidents do not take place again, especially the fire challenges that has seen a lot of products, a lot of infrastructure being destroyed in Glenview. So there will be a lot of engineering revision. There is a lot of change in terms of the design of the Glenview complex in order to ensure that it suits modernity, that it also suits fire prevention mechanisms, and that the designs will also allow for the growth of the small to medium scale enterprises. What is more important is the commitment by government, and the government of Zimbabwe is committed to ensuring that small to medium scale enterprises grow, they thrive, and it's sustainable, and that they will no longer face the challenges in terms of the infrastructure that had housed them for quite a long time. So it's the commitment by government. So all will be put in place, I can assure you that. Comrade Julaimo perhaps might want to add more information about that.
Well, there is a committee that was set up by the government, which is led by the Minister of Local Government and Public Welfare. I'm a member of the committee. And what the Comrade Mswere said is that there is a commitment by government. The two different places that you have talked about are very important for the small and medium enterprises, but they are not the only ones, nor is it restricted to Harare only. But Mbare Msika is well developed in the sense that government earlier on approved a Mbare redevelopment plan. So the contractors are riding on the Mbare redevelopment plan, which was approved by cabinet some few years ago. And it required also that Mbare Msika be upgraded, and this upgrading is going on. Whereas Glenview, although it's very important, it is capturing a different clientele. Most of the people in Glenview are in manufacturing of furniture, as opposed to the multidisciplinary activities that are in Mbare. So, and also it was not yet planned in the manner that Mbare Msika has been planned. The critical thing is that government has found willing business people, the private sector, which is willing to invest. And this is a new phenomenon where we are getting the private sector saying to invest in infrastructure in the urban areas, even for SMEs, will make money. And they, in Mbare as well as in Glenview, government is partnering with the private sector. So is the city council. So the city council also has found it necessary that they partner with the private sector in order to do this, because the private sector mobilizes the funds themselves, and together with the city council they will run these Msika outlets. We think that it will be done very quickly, both in Mbare and in Glenview. That's what I can add.
Thank you, Minister. So I'm sure, Costa, you are happy now with the responses that we are committed as government to support SMEs. Over to you, Chief Secretary.
We now move to the last round of 3 questions if there are any. Yes.
Secretary, I'm Christina Machibura from Mashua, just want to find out from the Minister of Transport on which tourist source markets are targeted for the development of new air routes, and presently is China among those countries.
Thank you very much. Any other question? Any other? Over to you, Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, and also let me thank my sister Retina for that very important question, and also to say in the forward of this very noble plan, His Excellency has mandated the Minister of Transport and Infrastructural Development together with the Minister of Tourism to collaborate effectively as a call to action on this particular plan. So you'll see that there is a symbiotic relationship between ourselves as Minister of Transport and Minister of Tourism, and together with the committees that have been established. So you find that in terms of our cover, we are saying as a ministry, we also need to take advantage of our infrastructure, like what I've alluded to earlier on, and you also need to target the markets that were not being covered before. We are also looking at the European market, the Asian market, and I can actually cite a good example to UAE, where we've also been targeting cargo, and also the reconnection of the European markets, and what we're also navigating towards the London route, which you'll see coming on board shortly. So these are some of the markets that we're not tapping. But above all, we also have our domestic resort areas that we need to take advantage as a country, that we're endowed with. And you'll see us also with smaller planes making sure we connect and not leaving anyone behind within the region and within the country. Thank you so much.
Machingura, you heard it. We are not going east, west, north or south. We are going everywhere, including domestic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ministers, for responding to those questions. We have come to the end of today's postcard.